Greetings once again, mages out there. Duuz-Diz-Din back again with Fairy Tale The 100 Years Quest. Now previously, we picked up in Magia Dragon, where both Elfin Sarah and Athena talked about their past with Duke Boroborua, how he died, and how somehow he's been resurrected as a puppet powered by the very will of Varanus, the gold dragon god. In fact, the very Alchemist Guild itself is possessed by the spirit of Varanus, driving their very actions somehow. Apparently Varanus has transcended their very body, and Athena lets everyone know that the only way to get rid of Varanus is separate his spirit from the guild, using a type of enchantment magic. The magic of Irene Borderson, a magic that Wendy knows. Unfortunately, because of their last encounter with Boroborua, both Rogue and Wendy have been incapacitated. They're also going to need the Philosopher's Stone, a great and powerful artifact to help them in their quests. So we split off into two teams. The members of Sabretooth go to various alchemist guilds, attempting to find someone who can create the legendary stone, while Jalal and Team Natsu go to confront the Duke and get back Wendy and Rogue's magic, only for them to be shocked by something when they get to the Gold Owl Guild, the Fairy Tale Guild, or an illusion of it, with all the members suddenly turning on our heroes. Has the Fairy Tale Guild once again been captured and turned against our heroes? Honestly, it's getting to the point where you might as well just have the entire guild along for the ride, because they keep finding themselves involved in some way, shape, or form. Or is this simply an illusion, the work of an alchemist? And if so, how do you get around this? And when the only people capable of creating a Philosopher's Stone are the very people we're fighting against, how do you come across one? Join me as I find out, won't you? Alright, Fairy Tale 100 Years Quest, Chapter 139, The Gold Owl Threat. It's another episode of Cooking with Jalal and Urza. And we know that Urza is a bit of a foodie, though it's mostly when it comes to sweets and stuff. But man, if Jalal knows how to cook, oof, yeah, he's a keeper right there. I love Natsu and Natsu's in the bag ready to eat, and Happy is all like, oh, he likes you or she likes him. But if they have kids, those kids will never not know the taste of good food. Jeez. It's funny too, because I think even when it comes to the Fairy Tale anime, most filler would also have members of Fairy Tale possessed. Although I gotta give it up to Atsuo. She made the members of Fairy Tale look really creepy, with the black eyes and that vacant dead stare. The menacing dead stare. Naturally, Team Natsu is taken aback a little bit, and as if on brand, the fake Juvia bumps Lucy out of the way to get to Gray, calling out to him. Well, Gray backs away saying, "You ain't Juvia." What the hell? Are you sure? Because she suddenly has you fondling her tits, and she's into it just as much as the actual Juvia is. Meanwhile, the flustered Gray says, she ain't an illusion, she's got a real body! Do they feel like the real thing, Gray? How do they compare? The same or a little bit better? Meanwhile, Natsu is overjoyed, saying that we can punch them all out. Yeah, Gildarts, Laxus, Urza, come on out. And Lucy says angrily, don't call for the strong ones. While Urza says, I'm right here. Like, Natsu, come on. Though, again, very much on brand. Meanwhile, Jalal says, but how will you fight them? They look like your guildmates. Aren't you reluctant to hurt them? Bruh. A fight with Fairy Tale is another Tuesday. Even Natsu's just like smiling and says, nah, it's fine. While Urza goes for her requip, saying, we do this all the time. And then they immediately start whooping ass. You got bodies flying all over the place, people hitting the ground hard. Lucy goes in for a strike, saying, sorry, Levy, only to be stopped by a very familiar looking hand. It's Gajeel, who says, you'd hit a pregnant lady? You're the worst. They're like, dang. Oh, are we sure these aren't the actual members of Fairy Tale? Because, like, Gold Owl should know this, unless they're using Team Natsu's own memories and mind to actually do this. Although, I feel so bad for Lucy, because she's like, no, it does kind of suck, though. Meanwhile, Levy actually uses her solid script in a way I'm not actually familiar with, because she just starts saying, ah! ha! And then the A's take form and just bowl Lucy over. I'm like, oh, did she always do that? I thought she had to at least, like, write it out or something. Huh. That's weird, though, because Lucy, who's been consumed in the solid script of the words suddenly then turn to mush, covering Lucy in a white, goopy substance. Oh my god, Mashima. And while Natsu sees this, he calls out for Lucy, only to get exactly what he asked for, as Laxus comes out and then brings down the thunder on Natsu, frying him to a crisp. Meanwhile, Juvia goes into her liquid form, calling out for Gray, completely just drowning him in her water. As Gray screams in terror. Man, you even have Gildarts. Oh god. Gildarts uses his crush magic on Urza and Jalal, completely catching them off guard. As Urza says, what? My body! Turning them both into little cubes. It almost looks like everybody's being, like, consumed with magical abilities and then teleported away. Nope, that's exactly what's been happening here. So, was it actually the fairy tale members, or was that an actual illusion? Because either way, that is, really OP. Urza regains consciousness and finds herself on a grassy field with various skulls all around, one of which is on a spike, like freaking Vlad the Impaler. It's a very gloomy and demonic atmosphere around her. Urza looks around, questioning, where am I? What's going on? Where did everyone from the guild go? Suddenly a figure approaches her, saying, the master created those bodies with alchemy, and this world was created by my big sis Lusa. And as Urza looks up, she sees the Signario sisters. As Eni tells Urza, it's Purgatory. Oh boy, this ain't great. Urza had a hard enough time teamed up with Jalal and Minerva going up against them, but going up against them by herself? Crud. Then again, it wouldn't be Urza if she wasn't taking on the biggest of odds. Urza stares daggers at the sister, as Eni continues talking, saying, once you fall in, that's it for you. You can't go back until you've been burned up by the flames of hell. Urza doesn't respond, and then he then says, I've no particular interest in you, but these are the master's orders. And Lucio says, so the Signario sisters are gonna have some fun with you. Oh, it seems like Gray and Lucy have been paired up, who find themselves on a field of bones. Jeez. Gray calls out, Lucy, you okay? And Lucy says, yeah, how about everyone else? The two shadowy figures approach them, with one saying, they must have fallen into other purgatory. It's Ganai and Kotetsu, with Ganai saying, we, Ganai and Kotetsu, shall be your opponent. And Kotetsu says, you take the girl, I won't bother with a small fry like that. Ouch. Of course, Lucy always gets the weirdo. Lucy gets actually pretty peeved at this, saying, excuse me? Though Gray smiles, saying, hey, if you underestimate our writer, you'll be in trouble. I do appreciate Gray at least hyping Lucy up. I always feel so bad for Lucy. I hope Lucy kicks Ganai's ass. And Lucy gets pumped up, saying, that's right. When I write my autobiography someday, I'm gonna make you guys sound so bad. That is the pettiness of Lucy. Meanwhile, in a landscape that looks pretty badass with like lava and stuff like that and these weird rock formations. Ooh baby, this showdown I wasn't expecting. It's Jalal facing off against God Serena. Oof. Though it does make a bit of sense because Jalal tends to be put in a very high category in terms of battle ability, and God, Serena's kind of been wiping the floor with some of the most powerful characters. I mean, from beating Jalal's ass, beating Gajil's ass, to actually managing to get one over on Natsu is just like, man. Considering how many times we saw God Serena, well, the one time we saw God Serena and he immediately got killed by Acnologia, it kind of made him seem like a bit of a joke, but no, he's actually kind of been living up to the hype, which again is kind of ironic since he's, dead. Yeah, now that I think about it, he fought Gildarts too, and he lost that fight as well. So, the strongest guy in Ishgard didn't have the best track record previously. Kind of feels like Matsuma and Asuo were kind of making up for that with how many people he's just been knocking silly left, right, and center, which I kind of appreciate. Very few characters get to, like, come back and live up to the hype with a track record like that. Jalal says, God Serena, formerly the top wizard in Ishgal. Did I say Ishgar? I thought it was Ishgar. I guess Ishgal, okay. You turned traitor for the Alvarez Empire and got killed by Acnologia, and now you're a corpse puppet, huh? You've had quite an eventful life. God Serena strikes his signature poses and says, so, who are you? Oh god. And Jalal, with all the angst, says, the biggest sinner in Ishgal. Meanwhile, Natsu walks through the hellscape saying, what's going on? I thought Laxus got me with his lightning, and then I ended up here. He looks around, and then sees Wendy, Happy, and Carla, who have been melded into something? What the hell are they trapped in? How are they here? Happy cries out, Happy, and Carla, Wendy! An unknown figure approaches saying, you came to get this girl's magic back, didn't you? And Natsu calls out, Master Duke! Duke Boroboro says, unfortunately, I can't give it back. However, I do have something else to offer instead. Gee. And suddenly, something peers out from what Wendy is trapped in above her. Boroboro says, I'll show you a new power that I created by alchemizing the magic I took. And as the figure makes its way out, Natsu looks on in horror as Boroboro introduces Athena 2, Sky Shadow Dragon mode, as a black version of Athena makes her way out right above Wendy. Natsu questions, what? And Boroboro explains, an Athena with Sky Dragon and Shadow Dragon power. Unlike that last piece of trash, this one doesn't have feeling. Natsu gets mad remembering how Boroboro so callously injured Athena before. Boroboro continues saying, and I'll add your fire dragon power. Shadow, sky, fire, sky, shadow. Looks like I need to think some more about the name. Athena 2 then hits the ground like a friggin' baby having just been born. And Boroboro tells her, go Athena 2, steal his dragon power. Athena 2 gets up saying, yes sir. And with one wave of her hand she unleashes a mighty gust of wind. Natsu braces himself saying, Wendy's win, huh? But suddenly, before he can even think, a shadow makes his way behind him and strikes out at him, with Natsu saying, Rogue Shadow. He hits the ground hard, wiping the blood from his mouth, saying, interesting. Meanwhile, Urza prepares her sword to fight the Signario sisters, saying, I can't leave until the flames of hell burn me up. While the Signario sisters ready themselves, Urza says, well, we'll see who gets burned, Meanwhile, Natsu ignites his fists as Boroboro and Athena look on, and Natsu says, I'm all fired up. Usual catchphrase. I'm actually shocked that we took that page to go back to Urza and the sisters. Then again, the irony of it being like, oh, the flames of hell burning you all alive, and it's just like, dude, these people work with Natsu. They've felt the flames of hell before. This'll probably be like a day at the beach. Although I'm still kind of taken off guard because both Natsu and Urza are the ones being double T. And Gray, Lucy, Jalal, they're up against some very tough and tricky opponents who have a lot of power behind them. God Serena just because he's God Serena, and Ganai and Kotetsu because they never run out of power. But with Urza, she's going up against 2-on-1, and we still don't fully understand how the Signario sisters' power actually works. Or at least I still don't understand. And with Natsu, I mean, with him going up against this Athena 2, then again, the first Athena gave Natsu the business, but, I mean, she had stolen his powers, so unless this Athena also knows that whiteout ability, but then again, the Duke is there too, and he has that ability to just steal Natsu's magical abilities right then and there. Unless Natsu can counter that, or Boroboro just doesn't think to do that. Because from any perspective you look at it, Boroboro should just be able to just go, your magic power, mine now. Thank you. Just like he did with Rogue and Wendy. There's also the fact that Natsu going up against this Athena 2 who has 2 Dragon Slayer abilities, it's like, but Natsu has kind of done this. Like, during the end of the Grand Magic Games when that Future Rogue came back and he had the powers of light and shadow. And if this is truly like a hellscape that they're in, doesn't Natsu now have, like, fuel he can just consume? Because there's a lot of fire and lava around. So I don't know. As outmatched as Natsu feels like he should be right now, he has gone up against people he's been outmatched by previously and come out on top. So let's see if the old Natsu luck comes through once again, which of course we know it will, but the how is the big question. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the ride, and until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.